My name's Connor McBride. I'm a professional Muay Thai fighter. I've been living in Thailand the last 3 years. Just come back to London about 2 weeks ago. So I'll speak to my family every day on FaceTime. But with Dorian, he was working as a school teacher, so he was very busy. Luckily, I could chat to the trainer, kind of persuade him, because you're not allowed to train. Police come into the gym, it'll be quite a big problem. I think it's just a commitment, the time you have to put in. People only see the wins and the victories. They never see the time that you put in behind the scenes, getting to that stage. It's especially with any sport. I like you, you've got very good technique. If you want to fight, I can get you fight in 3 weeks. I say, let's do it, why not? So I had my fight 3 weeks after being in Thailand. So I won that fight first round and by a stoppage. That was just a crazy experience, but in itself, fighting in the middle of a field, so they set up a ring in the middle of a field, and you're stretching in this bamboo grass.
Right. So you're saying you moved to Koh Samui, that's quite a famous place people go on holiday. So what were your best experiences living there?
Just the access of having beaches. So you've got 20 different beaches around the island. Like I said, you've got a lot of tourists there, people from all around the world that you can have a good conversation with and make connections with, and even the gym. So there was about 4 or 5 top fighters there when I moved there. One especially, Fabio. He'll probably be watching this as well. So me and Fabio, he was honestly, man, I watched his fight when I was in Ubon, about 3 months before I went to Samui. He fought in Thai Fight, which is one of the biggest platforms in Thailand. Absolutely obliterated the Thai. You can never win on points on Thai Fight unless you knock them out.
Okay.
But he won that well. They had to give it to him, otherwise it would have been a blatant robbery.
So where's Fabio from?
He's from Portugal.
Okay.
But he's half Portuguese, half Angolan.
Oh, wow.
He's just a monster, man, honestly. So I started training. We're going for runs. During the runs, me and him, the run's about 30 minutes. So I'll just get to, you're trying to waste the time, trying to make the runs go smoothly, not trying to obviously think about what you're doing next. You just want to keep your mind distracted. So we'll just be talking about life and our goals, and I could see a lot of myself in him. It's we were very, very similar, our mindsets. So it was refreshing, like I said, I was in London, I kind of knew there was more for me out there, and speaking to him, it made me realise, wow, there is more to life than just my, like I said, as much as I've got love for my friends back home, I just know there's some untapped potential for me, there's just that I don't even know about,
So obviously training with him, you're saying he's a really, really good fighter. Yeah. So what did you learn from him, and what experiences did you manage to gain whilst training with him?
Like I said, he's just a beast, man. Sparring with him ain't easy. He's a good 10, 15 kilos bigger than me, but I just love his mindset, you get knocked down 10 times, you get up 11 times. It's me and him used to have this saying, just we're destined for greatness.
Yeah.
And that's just something that we used to always be telling each other. Even 2 Turkish boys come as well, Farkan and Ardem. Farkan and Fabio ended up moving into the same house, and I was just around the corner. So after training at lunchtime, I'll go chill with them, eat, have a nap at their house. We go to training again. I come back around at dinner time, eat again. So we're pretty much together all the time. In the gym, outside the gym, we're just 24/7 together. So me, Farkan and Fabio are really, really connected. And their level was definitely higher than mine, but they always saw me as an equal. I'd always put them on a platform above me, but they used to say look, to us we're equal. Even in sparring, even though they might have a bit more in their arsenal or a bit more technique, they always found it tricky because my boxing's quite good. I could always catch them, I can always bring something new. And we just really connected. It was just honestly something special. Man.
So during that time when you're training with them and hanging out with them, so the fights that you have, how successful were you in your own fights?
So I had 10 fights in about 11 months.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
that's
Thailand, it's you can fight every week if you're fit enough to go.
Yeah.
But I had a couple injuries. I had 2 cuts. I had one here that was 11 stitches. I had one here 12 stitches.
You can still see a little mark on your forehead.
I had a fractured eye socket as well. But these 2 were from the same fight. This one was from a different fight. So I had to take 6 weeks resting time in between these fights. But like all my fights, because I haven't fought in like 4 years before I come to Thailand, I had like micro fractures in my shin, but like my coach was like, look, it's just your shin. You still got your fist, you still got your elbows. So you
I love that mentality.
you always find a way to work around it. So say like I can't kick with my right leg, all right, cool, I'll kick with my left leg, I'll do body shots, I'll do knees. So I was fighting on average like it worked out to be every 3 weeks, bar the waiting time for the injuries, which was about 6 weeks.
What were your best moments within those 11 fights that you had within that time period?
I'll say like I had to do a tournament in Bangkok because we were living in Samui, and the level of fighting in Samui isn't as high as what our level was, not to sound obviously, but just like the reality of it. So we had to fly to Phuket or Bangkok to fight on bigger platforms, which is live on TV in Thailand. Like, be walking down the street and someone like, oh, you Nak Muay, which is like, you Muay Thai, take a picture. It was like really, really cool. Like, it's quite surreal, the feeling of it, to be honest. But I say my best moments, like I had a tournament, like I was just saying, I had 2 fights in one night. I stopped the first guy.
2 fights in one night, that's insane.
In Thailand with the full Muay Thai, with the elbows and knees and everything, it is. And like, these aren't just like little like tuk-tuk drivers you're fighting. Like, these are like high level kids, man. Like, when I say kids, they're like 18, 20, but they've been doing it from 9 years or even younger. They've had like 300 fights. It's just like,
that's insane.
It's you know, it's definitely a challenge, but I love a challenge in my life. You know, I don't want to plain sailing. I don't want to be walking through my opponents with ease. Like, I want to get tested too, because after looking back on my fights, even going through the fights, it's like you realize a different side of yourself. Like I said earlier with the elbow, before you get elbowed, you're thinking, ooh, like even when people see getting cuts, you're like, oof, I don't know how I would react in that situation. But when you get put through that situation, you kind of realize, wow, like, it's not as bad as the thought is always worse than what it actually is with everything in life. I feel like that, you know.
I feel if you experience it, like the more you experience it, obviously the more comfortable you'll feel in that kind of situation. So in those situations, how do you overcome, for example, getting elbowed, getting those cuts? Do you just have to soldier on, or just talk me through what you're thinking in those moments?
Like I said, when you're watching it on TV, you feel like it's a lot of pain. You know, you feel. Like I said, you build up this image in your head that's not really true. And when you're fighting, you've got so much adrenaline, and everyone's different. Not everyone has that in them. You know, you see some people that get elbowed and they're not even cut and they just stop, they go to the floor, or they get cut and they kind of use it as an excuse to stop the fight. But for me, like I said, I wanted it that bad. Like, for me and my family, just to get my family in a better position. Like, my parents, they're getting old, like they're 64, 63. And man, I don't want them working another 2-3 years, you know, let alone 5 years till pension comes in. So to be honest, I'm doing this as much as them as I am for myself. So every fight I had, it's like I knew I'm one step closer to getting to that big platform and really making a name for myself.
So trying to get to that big platform, trying to get a big platform, how did you try to achieve that? Was it obviously trying to win as many fights as possible? Obviously trying to get maybe sponsorship deals from certain people. So what was your thinking process through that?
So the goal was one championship. That's like UFC, but in Asia. It's like...
That's Singapore, right?
Yeah, but they just moved it to Thailand last year.
Right, okay.
So just after the crash.
Okay.
So
we'll talk about that in a minute as well.
So before that, it was just... So they had Muay Thai Super Champ, which was like the biggest thing at that time in Bangkok, in Thailand, which is what we were fighting on. So I was fighting on that, and like I said to Fabio, like, I'm ginger, you know, he's African. Like, in Thailand, we stick out like sore thumbs. Yeah. So I said, look, people like me and you, all we got to do is have some crazy knockouts, you know, really just put 100% in for it, make a crazy knockout, you know, like maybe get 3, 4, 5 knockouts where you're just really like obliterating the whole fight. And people are just going to be like, whoa, like, who are these guys? And that will really, you know, you kind of stick out from the rest of the bunch, because you watch some of these fights, people are just like I said, these kids are fight 300 times a year, right? So they make kind of deals before the fights. So like, all right, cool, we won't cut each other. We'll take it easy, because they got to fight next week to make more money.
Right.
The poverty is,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can understand it 100%. I even had it myself with like one of my fights. I was just after I was recovering from one of my cuts. My teammate cut him. I stopped a guy with their elbows. So we both didn't really want to be throwing elbows in the fight, and he was from Samui too. But we both flew to Bangkok to have this fight. And like, we were on the ferry to go to the mainland, and then you get a ferry from Samui to the mainland, and then a flight from the mainland to Bangkok. It's like a little
Were you on that
cheaper.
together?
We're on the same ferry together, and I've known him anyway. Like I've seen him a few times around. He's a really, really nice guy. Like I really like.
So this might not seem alien to you, but what is it like fighting someone you know? You just said he's like a really nice guy. So
Yeah.
what is that like?
You know what? It's just business at the end of the day. Like, was it 3-minute rounds? It's like, cool, we just go for it. Like, nothing, you don't mean anything to me. Like, you're basically in the way of my success, my future. That's the way that I look at it. And I know many other people like to look at it that way because you can't take it personal. It's like...
So would you fight Fabio? I know he's not the same weight class as you.
If I had to do it for... No, he's not.
No,
but
he's not.
if I had to do it, it's like Ardam and Farkan, they're two Turkish lads. They fought each other before many years ago.
Okay.
And they're like great friends now. And they even told me it brought their friendship even closer.
Oh, really?
You get a lot more respect. Like after you fight someone, you're both like on your hands and knees, you know, you're bowing,
Yeah.
you're showing respect, you give each other a big hug, maybe like a little kiss on the cheek or the neck, you know, you really embrace them. You say, you know what, I respect you, you know, we went 3 rounds or you got in front of me, you gave it everything, and it's just a mutual respect, I think. That's what I love about fighting. It ain't personal, it's just business at the end of the day.
So you're saying it's business. So what? Again, going back to the original question, we've kind of gone off topic a little bit. So what were your aims and targets, obviously, for your family and for yourself whilst over there? Because you said you got into a big crash.
Yeah.
At what point in Thailand were you at in the 3 years when you had that? And just talk me through.
Yeah, so like my goals, like I said, was for 1 championship.
Yeah.
But like you said, that was in Singapore at the time. So my crash happened about 1.5 years into my trip into Thailand. Literally halfway through, I was there. And about 6 months after my crash, 1 championship started coming into Thailand. They were having like fights every Friday. They're giving away $10,000 knockout bonuses, paying good purses like $5,000 and up, just for the fights, just at like a starting rate. So, but yeah, like I said, everything literally, like my whole world got flipped upside down after that crash.
So what happened? What was the situation?
So I just come back. I had my best fight of my career actually. Like the guy couldn't really touch me. All my fights before I had this, like my coach, he would always tell me to go, because he knew I was tough. He knew I had endurance. But like he never told me, relax, take your time, pick your shots, fight your style. It's like I really wanted to fight my style. And the last fight I had, I kind of just stopped listening a little bit to what he was saying and listening more to myself, you know, taking time, picking my shots, in and out, bit of head movement, you know, mixing up the levels, the body shots, the leg kicks. I felt like it was definitely the best fight of my career. And literally 2 weeks after that, I come back, you know, just enjoying the finer things in Thailand and literally just on the way to my Turkish friend's house and just literally in a split second, like my whole life changed, man.
So what, were you walking? Were you on a bike or car or?
Yeah, so I was driving a moped. So I've been driving mopeds there the whole time. I was driving for like 1.5 years, never had 1 accident. You know, I was going, it was each month my confidence was getting a bit more, my speed was getting more as well, which is obviously, look, I take full accountability. Like I think in life you have to take full accountability for everything, the situation that you're in. And as much as it was his fault, it was 50% my fault was too. If I was going a little bit slower, I wouldn't have gotten away with the injuries that I did. I could have got away with a lot less. But at the end of the day, the guy knew that he messed up. Like he paid for the motorbike, the hospital, paid for all the fees, compensation. But I was just driving down the road one night. It was about 8-9 p.m. at night time, and he just done a 180 in the middle of the road. As I said, I was going too fast. I've gone to overtake him, thinking that he's watching me. He keeps on spinning out. He just span out, and it was too late for me to go back into my lane. And to be honest with you, I thought I was gonna die. Like I was going that fast. By the time I broke, it was probably like 50, 60 kilometers an hour. It was still pretty fast. But like I thought, you know, you see the videos of people just going up in the air. So I grabbed the bike and like stuck my leg out to like take the whole impact. Like I basically T-boned the side of his car. And yeah, like I felt and I heard something when I crashed, but like I didn't want to believe it. Like I knew something wasn't right. And like I jumped up like from the floor to say like, what are you doing?
Thank you for not swearing.
Yeah, no, I knew. I was like, what is going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, did you not see me? And as I've got up, like, I don't know if you've seen the kicks in the Muay Thai, when they kick and it breaks their leg and they step down, it's like completely disconnected.
Yeah.
Like my whole, like from my thigh down was like stuck to the floor, and like all my body's like trying to get up. Like I said, I knew what happened, but I didn't want to believe it. And I just looked and I was like, oh man, there's like 50 people like right in the middle of the street, like so many people there. I was like, you know what? Let me take a deep breath. Like I looked around me, like no scratches. I had no helmet on, so I checked my head. I was like, I'm alright. Like I said to myself, look, it's just my leg. The bone will grow back. The muscles will grow back. That's just my first initial thought was, look, Connor, you're still alive. It's just your leg. It's gonna give it a year. You'll be back. I called up Fabio and my boys. I told them, look, you ain't gonna believe this. I just had a mad crash. But I was so calm when it happened, like, because I didn't even feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
I had all the shock and the adrenaline going through. I didn't even feel anything. And they were like, look, you're talking, like,
it's fine.
You're talking rubbish, da 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 da. I said, look, come to this location and you're gonna see him. So they come here. I'll never forget, bless Fabio, man, like broke down in tears, man. Like he knew, like I didn't want to believe it, but he knew this was gonna be like, majorly affect my future in ways I couldn't even believe. But he knew it straight away, like this is like a make or break situation for me. So all the boys, like I said, my Turkish boys are out there, Ardam, Farkan, Arda, Batuan, all of them, Fabio, they all took such good care of me, man. Like they were in the hospital with me. I had to wait 2 days for my operation. So I was just on morphine, you know, like that's when the pain really kicked in, was when I was in the ambulance with Kutla on the way to the hospital. It just hit me like an uppercut out of nowhere, the pain. I just couldn't believe it, man. It's like I felt all my nerves and everything was like spaghetti. It was just like all mangled, and it was definitely the hardest thing I've experienced. But like I said, with the boys I had around me, it made it 100 times easier to get through, man.
Obviously, you have a lot of good friends around you. Yeah. So what were you thinking at the time, and then how long is your recovery process?
So my doctor told me after 1 year of the operation, he's got full faith I can get back into competing, which for me was like music to my ears, because I thought, man, going through something like this, my whole career's finished. For him to tell me just 1 year, like that's not really a long time considering the injury. Like the femur is the strongest and the hardest bone in your body to break. Like it's got to be some impact to break that. Only from football or skiing or jumping from crazy heights or like I said, car crash is the only time you're gonna break this bone. So, but like I said, the mentality I had was, look, once the bone heals together, I just get the muscles back. I'll be back to what I was. Like I was doing my research about other professional athletic players fighting at high level that have gone through injuries similar to this, even football players that have broken their legs and gone back to World Cups and stuff like this. So I said, like, if I limit myself and say, look, I'm never going to be the same again, I probably would be like that. But because I had that determination to get back and join my friends back into fighting, and even for my family, like, bless them, they were at home the whole time. Like I stayed in Thailand a year after my operation. So the doctor told me I could fight again after a year. I still had my savings. I was doing physios. It was like the best thing to do was swimming pool exercises, and Samui's full of swimming pools. Physios are half the price. So it was a lot more financially cheaper or financially smart for me to do my recovery in Thailand. Plus it was in August, just coming up to winter in London. And for bone healing, you really feel it in the cold. So like my parents, the first thing they said was, look, you got to come home. The Turkish friends took the phone off me, like, look, he's under amazing hands. He's like a brother to us. We're gonna bring him into the house. He ain't gonna do anything. He's just gonna rest. We're gonna cook. We're gonna clean. Like he doesn't have to do anything. He's in good hands. They really made my parents' mind at ease. Like God bless them, man. They really, it's a godsend I had people like this around me, you know.
So what were the toughest moments in your recovery process?
Just the constant pain. I was just constantly in pain. There was times I was thinking, damn, like, is this a message from God to tell me to go home? Like, this career ain't for me. Go back to London, go back to your family, go back to work. Like, just watch your friends succeed and kind of just live your life. Or is it a trial and tribulation? You know, how bad do I really want this? Do I want it as bad as I say I want it? Or am I just saying that to myself? So it was just a massive test for me to kind of understand how bad do I really want to do this sport. You know, like I said, I stopped when I was young. I missed out on about 6-7 years when I stopped, so I knew I had to catch up anyway. Now going through this injury, I'm set back again another year, 2-3 years. You know, like, people have told me my career's finished. You know, I've heard people telling me, look, you ain't gonna be able to fight again, or I won't be able to fight until I'm 30, like in 5 years' time, which is, I'll be like 30, 31, which is like basically my career's finished, you know. But for me, that's just motivation now. Like, every time I'm in the gym and I feel tired now, I just hear that voice in the back of my head where I'm hearing them, look, your career's finished, this. It's just like fuel to the fire for me. Like, I'm just grateful for people that doubted me. Like,
So you've overcome so many hurdles. So you said your crash was 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And you said it took you a year to recover.
Wow.
About a year.
Well, it's been, so basically, about a year after the operation, the doctor told me I could compete again.
Yeah.
My walking was still lopsided. I couldn't run properly. Every time I was training, I had to wear a knee brace. I was in constant pain, always using ice. I was like, what's going on, man? Like, the doctor told me I can fight again. I can't even walk, I can't even train. Like, I can't even imagine taking a leg kick.
Yeah.
I was like, something's not right.
I can't imagine taking a leg kick anyway.
Yeah, I was just like, something's not going right here. Like, my doctor would only take an X-ray of my leg in Samui. He would never take an X-ray of my full body.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? Let me get a second opinion. My parents as well. They said, look, go to Bangkok, go check out some of the best hospitals there. So I've done my research. I got 2 opinions. The first one, they told me I had a non-union, so the bone basically didn't connect to my femur. And I didn't really like the vibe I was getting from this doctor. I just don't know, something in my gut just I wasn't really trusting him too much. So I thought, you know what, let me get a second opinion, because I knew there was a non-union, there's no fact about that, but I knew there was something else that was causing me this pain, like in my back and my knee. So I went and got a second opinion. He done a full X-ray of my body, and he put lines to check my whole alignment. And when he showed me the X-ray of my body, well, no word of a lie, I was like, please, man, like, stop messing around. Like, show me my X-ray. Like, this isn't me. I couldn't believe the state of my back. Like, my spine was completely bent. My hips were like a diagonal. You'll see, like, on the X-rays, like, my knees pushed out by 1 centimeter. My whole alignment was just messed up, man. So my leg didn't grow in a straight line. It grew at kind of like an angle. So they basically told me, look, your whole alignment's messed up. You got to have this surgery again. We've got to re-break it. So they re-broke it. This was 6 months ago. I had my second operation. So they re-broke it. They've like proper opened up my leg this time. The first time it was just a little bit on my hip and on my knee. This time they completely opened up my leg. Like, put a massive plate down from my knee to my hip. They took a bone graft from my hip.
This is in Thailand, or?
This is in Thailand. Yeah. And put the bone graft from my hip. So they connected one side of my femur. And obviously there was about a triangle missing. So they filled that all with like bone marrow debris from my hip. Mm-hmm. And even that, so I didn't plan for that second operation. Like, after the first operation, I had savings still to last me for the year. And after the year, they told me, look, you need a second operation, like £15,000, 600,000 baht. And I called up my parents. I was like, look, like, I've got to come home. I've got to have a second operation. And they told me, look, if you come home now, you ain't going to get an operation for about a year or two. Like, the waiting list on the NHS is ridiculous. It's like you either stay in the condition that you are now, which is in constant pain and agony, like on a day-to-day. Like I said, I couldn't even walk in a straight line. I couldn't, like, honestly, like, when I tell you rock bottom, that is, for me, the worst I've ever felt in my life. So my sister said, look, you got an ultimatum. You make a GoFundMe account. You know, we raise money for you to help support as much as we can towards this operation. And in about a month, like 6 weeks, they raised £10,000, which is like 400,000 baht, which covered like two-thirds of the operation. So, like, for me, I went straight from high school to work. I've always took pride in, you know, even in Thailand, my parents were like, here, take £50, or they're trying to support me. I'm like, look, I'm all right. I've got my own money. I've always took pride in that, being my own man, you know, always supporting myself. So for me to do this GoFundMe, like, I told my sister, nah, you know what, I'll come home, I'll wait for the year or two. But then I'm thinking, man, like, I'm really jacked up, man. Like, I need to get this sorted out. Do I just bite my pride, you know, and just go through with this? Like I said, if I wait a year or two to have the operation, another year or two to recover, I'm 26, 27. By the time I recover, I'm 30, then my career's almost finished. So it had me really questioning, like I said, how bad do I want this? Have I got to suck up my pride and all my morals that I've always stand for to get back in that ring and to get to that high level? Or, yeah,
So
challenging.
So have you had that second operation now?
Had that now. It's been 6 months now since the second operation.
So now you're recovering. Are you walking fine? Is your everything aligned, like not properly, but like as it should be? Are you feeling good?
Oh man, it's a massive improvement. Like compared to 6 months now, compared to 6 months after the first operation, it's a massive improvement. Like I was still using the stick, my crutch after the first operation around this time. Like I said, my walking now is getting there. It's not 100%, but I feel like it's a lot better. I can walk long distances, like 3 to 5 miles every day. I go for like light jogs, 2 to 5 minutes, just to slowly build up my stamina and my cardio. But I can feel a massive improvement, even in my spine. Like my spine, I was always uncomfortable when I sat down. I always felt like I had to click myself back. Like it was always just like I could feel it on a day-to-day, everything I'd done, even just sitting down, relaxing, I just felt like something wasn't right. And they'd done x-rays from 6 months ago to now. There's about a 10-degree bend in my spine before, like scoliosis. Now it's about 4 degrees, and that's only been 5-6 months. So I'm gonna get into yoga hopefully soon, once I'm fully recovered, and Pilates, and really pull it back as much as I can, and get rid of that scoliosis as much as I can, and like I say, get back to that level of competing.
So what is your plan for the next 6 months to a year in terms of recovery, obviously you said yoga, and competing wise and training?
So my plan has been from the second operation just to get my body back in alignment. Like I've put boxing and Muay Thai to the side. I said, look, I can do upper body weights. You know, I've been staying fit the whole time. Even since the crash, I've stayed in great shape. I haven't like binged eating and like kind of ate my sorrows away. I've always like stayed in the gym, kept my mind busy. That's all I could do. Like I couldn't work, or even now, like I'm a plumber. I can't work. It's a very physical job, lifting up radiators and toilets and bringing tools into central London on trains. It's a very physical job. But hopefully 2-3 months I can get back into work. Like now I'm testing how much weight I can put on my knees, doing my stretching. Now I just do my physio. So like I said, I do upper body in the gym weights and my physio for my legs, resistant bands, leg training, stretching, just kind of get my body back into how it used to be.
So is your ultimate plan to get back to Thailand and into one championship?
Yeah, man, that's the goal, man.
That's the goal. So yeah, I wish you all the best in your journey going back, hopefully back to Thailand. Thank you so much, Connor, for joining me on the Chinwag Podcast.
Thank you for having me, man.
I really thoroughly, honestly enjoyed hearing your story. So if you did enjoy that podcast, follow Connor on all his socials. They'll be in the description down below. If you did enjoy that podcast, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. As I said, all of Connor's socials are in the description down below. And don't forget, I'll see you later for more.